guys, it's Sami, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 8th of April, 2022, to talk about everything that went down tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. First night's Friday Night Smackdown does go. I enjoyed the show. I really did enjoy tonight's Smackdown. Let's center this. Whoop, that really messed up the camera. Let's center this a little more, though. Oh, I just all kinds of messed it up. Hold on. That. Go there. Let's bring that down just a little. That's straighter. That's better. More centered-ish. Kind of. Whatever. With that, I thought tonight's SmackDown was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of good stuff on the show. They set up a few things going forward, and we'll see what it all leads to. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PWU Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, just like Broken King Slender recently did, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you take that Amazon Prime account, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, your Twitch Prime gaming, bada bing, bada booming, and then you get a lot of free stuff. Well, technically free stuff, yes. You get free games off of Twitch, like right now you can get, I'm going to try and think of these off the top of my head, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Game of the Year edition. And the other good one is, it's on the tip of my tongue, Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. Plus you get free stuff for games like Grand Theft Auto Online, Madden 22, League of Legends, Valorant, and so much more. But the one thing that never changes is you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribed right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well with a super chat or a super sticker donation. Remember, all super chats do get read live on the air. Plus, remember, you can hit that donate button down below, not donate button, join button down below to become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Also, remember, in doing so, and you say, if you want to get all that, but you say, I don't want to subscribe and give YouTube my money, you can always go to patreon.com/PW Unlimited and do it over there. Do it. It's more direct. It's a better way to support us directly and not having YouTube take a cut. And I do want to say thank you to DragonFight88452022 in the Twitch chat for the 35-bit donation. I highly do appreciate that. Thank you, Dragonfight, for that one. But finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Buy a game. Buy a game like, Sifu, Elden Ring, or Grand Theft Auto 5. Buy one of those games, and at checkout, it'll ask you if you got a creator code, and you do. It's PW Unlimited. This code right here. Enter creator code, Epic creator code, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you'll be supporting us here. And it doesn't even have to be on the Epic Game Store. You're playing Fortnite on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo Switch, your phone. Well, the store on there is going to ask you for a creator code as well at the very bottom. Put this one in. PW Unlimited. But with that, we've got Friday Night Smackdown to talk about that kicked off recapping WrestleMania 38. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee then noted that Roman Reigns would appear later in the show to announce his, quote, next plans. Ronda would then open the show, and boy, was this not good. So Kayla Braxton's in the ring, and she goes, welcome to Friday Night Smackdown. Let me bring out my guest, the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey. And out comes Ronda. Braxton noted that Ronda kept her word and did actually make Charlotte tap at WrestleMania. The fans broke out in a brief Ronda chant, but it wasn't really that big of a chant, to be completely honest. To recap, Rousey forcing Flair to tap out, and then Flair pinning Rousey at WrestleMania to retain the title. Rousey pointed out that she did make her tap, but admits that she didn't win the match. Braxton mentioned that Reigns reveals what's next for him later, so what's next for you? Rousey didn't hesitate and demanded another match with Charlotte at WrestleMania Backlash. But this one, she wants no gimmicks. She wants to know nothing that I guess you could say is the champion's advantage. She doesn't want Charlotte to go out there and get disqualified to keep the title, get counted out to keep the title. She then goes on to challenge Charlotte in an I Quit match. Fans actually popped for it. Krill, I don't know what you're talking about. Project file. I don't know what that means. So Charlotte would then appear on the big screen. She mocked Ronda, saying that she beat her at WrestleMania. She felt Rousey's armbar, and then she still won. Flair then turned down Rousey's challenge, and Rousey goes, "Oh, don't worry, Charlotte. This match will happen." And she threw the mic down. They then recapped Ridge Holland and Sheamus defeating the New Day at WrestleMania. And then we had Xavier Woods against Butch in a good, hard-hitting match that went 8.5 minutes. I really enjoyed this match. Before the match, Kingston praised Sheamus and Holland for getting their first wins at WrestleMania. And I go, what? Their first wins at WrestleMania? Sheamus has won at Mania before. Sheamus won the world title at Mania in 18 seconds against Bryan Danielson. Again, Krell, I have no clue what you're talking about. Oh, for memberships. Okay. So project files means that sometimes we will do, what's the word I'm looking for? So I make all my own graphics. And in doing so, I make all my own graphics, like for WrestleMania Backlash, and so forth. And then I, excuse me. And then I record while I'm creating them. And so then I do like a speed, it's called speed art, where I speed up the time and then you guys can watch it in fast motion how I created the graphics. Well, if you are a channel member, the mid-card tier, I will then actually make the, the project file, the Photoshop file of that actual graphic available for you guys. That's a perk that I do want to give you guys. It's like, hey, I created this for my channel, but if you guys want to see it, want to see how I go, labeling all my stuff and putting my files together, my projects together and stuff for Photoshop and the graphics I use on the channel, I'll put those out for channel members. I'm going to have one soon for WrestleMania Backlash. And I think I got to put up the WrestleMania one still. I didn't get a video for that because I forgot to record the video creating it, but I will do the video for WrestleMania Backlash and put up the project file. So it's basically my way of saying, hey, I created all this stuff for the channel, but if you guys want to use it, if you guys want to see how I make my graphics, here's a cool behind the scenes thing for you, for people that further support the channel. But back to the match, or the promo before the match. So it was weird though that they were like, oh yeah, Sheamus and Holland finally won at WrestleMania. We're like, okay, Sheamus has won at WrestleMania. Granted, a dark pre-show match, but he still won at WrestleMania. Woods pointed out that he hasn't won at WrestleMania though. Kingston said, yeah, in 2019 when I won the world title, we both won. We all won. And Woods was like, oh, okay, I guess that counts. Woods then pointed out that WrestleMania is their season finale. Therefore, at their season finale, the records should all reset. The record of them losing at WrestleMania doesn't count anymore. Doesn't matter anymore. It's all wiped clean. And now they're all 0-0. That's an interesting thing to note. The match starts off and Butch has the early advantage, but Woods fought back. Holland and Sheamus gave Butch some advice. Woods missed a splash in the corner, and Butch took over. He worked over Woods' arm, but Woods fought back. Woods caught Butch in a side Russian leg sweep and hit a basement dropkick. Butch and Woods ended up fighting at ringside. Butch regained control when he gave Woods a suplex on the apron. Back from the break, Butch was firmly in control. He slowed down the pace and worked over Woods' arm. Butch followed this up with the forearm and got a near fall off of it. Woods fought back with a chop and some punches. He rocked Butch with a kick to the face. Woods then went for the tornado DDT, but Butch caught him with a punch to the face. At one point right around here, Butch was bleeding from like the bridge of his nose. Butch stomped on the fingers and stomped on Woods' head. Butch charged at Woods, but he avoided it, and Woods used a small package to pick up the victory, as Pat McAfee didn't call it a small package. He said, no, Michael Cole, this is called the Backwoods. The Backwoods. So that was an interesting name for it, the Backwoods. But hey, Woods is back with a small package. After the match, though, Butch would snap and start punching and kicking Sheamus and Holland. They calmed him down. Sheamus put him in the corner as if to put him in timeout. And Cole even said, he's having a temper tantrum. What, like a kid? I was like, oh, Lord, ye be. Then recap Johnny Knoxville defeating Sami Zayn in an Anything Goes match at WrestleMania. We come back and Sami's furious in the back with Adam Pearce. He said, hey, I wanted an Anything Goes match, not an anybody's welcome match. And Adam Pearce is like, well, what's the difference? Basically. He said he had a plate of cheese here. He's getting ridiculed all week. And he's like, well, what's the cheese mean? He's like, mousetrap? I got trapped on a mousetrap. I hate cheese. And then the fans booed. Zayn then says he wants to get his respect back. And he can beat anybody in this locker room. So the next person that walks out of that locker room, he wants him in a match. Door opens. Here comes Drew already in his gear. And Pierce goes, all right, that's what you wanted? Sure. There you go. You got him. So it was announced that Adam Pearce will be taking on, or not Adam Pearce, Sami Zayn will be taking on Drew McIntyre later on tonight. Holy crap, big wreck in the NASCAR Xfinity race right now. Marcel Barthel then came out and debuted his new name of Ludwig Kaiser. He then introduced the ring general, Gunther. Gunther took on Joe Alonzo in a 2-minute and 4-second match. It went actually longer than I expected. Way longer than I expected, actually. I thought it was going to be like 30, 45-second squash. But even at this, 2 minutes, a squash, that's what they need to do with Gunther for like the next 2 months. Just have him come out, give him a local guy, beat his ass. That's all they need to do with them. Just have Gunther beat these guys down for the next 2 months and just show how dominant he is. And don't just have small, skinny geeks. Get some bigger local guys as well. So they could show, hey, I can take on all kinds of guys and beat them all down. Gunther did attack at the bell and beat him down with some hard chops and a big boot. He followed this up with a slam and a power bomb for the win. Again, match in 2 minutes, but not a lot happened. In the back, Kayla Braxton interviewed another new member of the Smackdown roster. So we had 2 debuts in like adjoining segments, back-to-back segments, back-to-back segments. Kayla Braxton said, I want to introduce the newest member to the Smackdown roster, Raquel Rodriguez, the former Raquel Gonzalez. So at least she didn't get a completely overhauled name like Marcel Barthel to Ludwig Kaiser. It's actually supposed to be Ludwig Klaus at first. Then they changed it to Ludwig Kaiser. But we now have Raquel Rodriguez on the main roster. She admitted that SmackDown is one of the best locker rooms in all wrestling, but they're not ready for her. Los Lotharios would approach, and she kind of giggled a little about them. Then they tried to kiss her, and she was like, no. And then she got annoyed. She goes, those guys always that annoying? Braxton was like, yeah. Also interesting enough, I assume Raquel's supposed to be a babyface, but they're doing the interview, and Kayla's like, so what are your thoughts on being on SmackDown? And Raquel kind of like bends down to the mic, and then she goes, I'm up here, and like lifts Kayla's hand up. That was a little bit of a heel thing. Doing the whole I'm way bigger than you. But regardless, I think it was just a whatever spot, whatever deal. But we do now have 3 new members of the SmackDown roster in Gunther, or the Ring General Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Marcel Barthel. Or not Marcel Barthel. Marcel Barthel is Ludwig Kaiser. It's Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Raquel Rodriguez. As we move forward, we did get, Happy Talk. Happy Talk Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. So this segment was good-ish. It had its moments, but it had its kind of like, what the hell are we doing here as well. Moss and Corbin. Well, actually, my notes are out of order. Why did I write that like that? Okay, so they recap Moss winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and Drew defeating Corbin in Mania. Happy Corbin and Moss made their way down to the ring. Corbin was sad, but Moss was in a great mood. They showed the Andre the Giant trophy at ringside, and Corbin noted tonight, Happy Talk should be a celebration, but it's not. All because of Moss. Moss cost him the win at WrestleMania. He pointed out that Moss shouldn't have jumped up on the apron at WrestleMania and distracted him. Moss tried to apologize, and Corbin noted that he just cares. All you care about is winning that Battle Royal. It's all you kept talking about all weekend. You win the Battle Royal. You won the Battle Royal. You won the Battle Royal. Fans broke out in a loud Madcap Moss chant. Corbin said, that's the problem. He wants Moss to tell him some jokes. Moss told 2 bad jokes. Corbin didn't laugh. Corbin then demanded, tell me a joke. Your job depends on it. That makes me laugh. Moss told a joke about Corbin and said Corbin dresses like he's going to a funeral for Tommy Bahama. Moss laughed. Fans popped. Corbin got pissed. He asked if the fans thought that was a joke, and they popped. Corbin then attacked Moss, and they fought around ringside. Corbin and Moss brawled around for a little while before Moss started just beating Corbin down at ringside, slamming him headfirst on the announce table. Back into the ring, they start fighting a little bit more. Corbin tries to get the advantage. It doesn't happen, and then Corbin gets thrown out of the ring. Madcap stomps on his hat, throws it to him. There we go. Good in the back, Jinder Mahal and Shanky are talking to Adam Pearce, and he's like, I wasn't booked for WrestleMania. Why wasn't I booked for WrestleMania? We got a United States title. We got an Intercontinental title. Oh, and I face Ricochet next week. Pull him out of witness protection and let me face him for the Intercontinental Championship. And friggin' Adam Pearce goes, well, I can't just give you the match. And Jinder's like, why not? And then in comes Ronda Rousey, and Jinder goes, I wasn't done. And Ronda goes, And Jinder just backs off, leaves, gets out of there. I'm like, oh, Jinder's scared of Ronda. Spoiler alert, later on in the show, Jinder just gets the title shot next week. After Adam Pearce goes, I can't just give you the match. He just gives him the match. Rousey is all kinds of mad. She asked about what she demanded, if she's going to get her challenge, if she's going to get her I Quit match. And Adam Pearce just goes, we'll know the answer to that tomorrow. And he was just like, Ronda kind of just looked at him and didn't respond, to be completely honest. Next up, we had a 3.5 45-second match. It was Drew McIntyre against Sami Zayn. McIntyre and Zayn had kind of a disappointing match because of the weak finish of Sami just running away. But Sami jumped out of the ring early on. As the bell rang, he slowly got back into the ring and then jumped out again. McIntyre went after Zayn and dropped him on the barricade. Zayn fought back with the boot to the face. McIntyre recovered with a belly-to-belly suplex and a hard chop. McIntyre slammed Zayn's face to the announce table and then dropped him on the table. McIntyre threw Zayn back in the ring. He rolled out of the ring, and then McIntyre waited to see what he was going to do, but he just walked off. Zayn then left in the crowd, got counted out, and didn't really care. McIntyre then stood on the middle rope and kind of like, pointed at him. They're going to fight next week again in another match. McIntyre, or actually, they recapped Pat McAfee defeating Austin Theory, then getting beat by Vince McMahon, and then getting stunned by Stone Cold Steve Austin. McAfee admitted that he's been feeling a lot of different emotions this week. He's like, I'm still sore. I'm still for sure hungover. But that was a dream come true, Michael Cole. Then we get chapter 1 of the story of Lacey Evans and her struggle. Evans discussed her life in a backstage segment. She noted that she was born in a small town in Georgia and her father worked construction but struggled with mental health and addiction. So bad that he was abusive to her mom. And, well, her as well. She noted that her mom knew the best thing for her was to get, for her and her children, was to get them out of that situation. So, one day, even before she was even in school, her mom packed everything they had in bags, loaded it in the car, got all the kids, and took them away. She stated that they left and her father had no clue that what was about to happen. And so for the next several years, for most of her life, they bounced from state to state, living in shelters and all kinds of other places. She says, but this experience taught me never to give up. It made me the woman I am today. Fans popped. She said, it led me to doing all the different things that I've done. And, well, because of that, I may not be better than any of the women in the locker room, but I sure do try to work harder. So basically what this is they brought back Lacey Evans. She gave birth last October, so it's October, November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months or so after she gave birth. And, the fans have always treated her as a heel. They've always given her, because she's been a heel, but they want to do the sympathy thing to try and get her over as a babyface. They tried to push her as a babyface before in the past, and the fans always just gave her the heel reaction. So now, doing the whole I had to overcome my entire life kind of story, which is all true. It's all completely true. But the story she's telling here is to try and get sympathy of the fans so they cheer her instead of boo her. Going forward, we learned that this coming Monday on Raw, Cody Rhodes will have his first match in 6 years on Raw, taking on The Miz. Also, the VIP lounge with MVP and Big Ol' Omos. And then recap Sasha Banks and Naomi defeating Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley on Raw. Morgan and Ripley get another title shot next week. And tonight, we got Liv Morgan versus Sasha Banks in a 7-minute match. So, in the back, Megan Morat wondered why Morgan's on SmackDown since her title shot's next Monday. Morgan says she's going to defeat Banks tonight and have the momentum going into Raw. Morat asked, where's Ripley? Morgan admitted that, well, she's just not here. Not sure why she wasn't there, but she just wasn't there. Naomi joined commentary with McAfee and Cole noted that Banks and Naomi made history by becoming the first ever fully black tag team to win the Women's Tag Team Championships. This is also the third time, if I'm correct, Sasha's won the tag titles. Liv Morgan had the early advantage, but Sasha did fight back. She sent Morgan to the floor as they went to an early commercial break. Back from said break, Banks hit the Three Amigos and followed this up the Frog Splash for a close near fall. It showed Shayna Baszler and Natalya awkwardly watching in the back. Natalya's watching like this, as Shayna's playing with a deck of cards. Morgan and Banks tried to pin each other a couple times. They were reversing the pin attempts and this and that. Banks then rocked Morgan with a kick to the head. Morgan quickly reversed it and caught Banks with a knee. The fans applauded Banks and Morgan. Morgan then missed the splash in the corner, but bounced back and rocked Banks with another knee. Banks and Morgan then fought on the top rope, and the finish came when Banks gave Morgan a superplex. Morgan and Banks both went for the pin. Morgan rolled through it and pinned Sasha to pick up the victory. Basically a Dynamite Kid, Randy Savage suplex finish. And then recap the Usos defeating Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs at WrestleMania, and talked about Boogs' knee injury as we went on to the main event segment of the show. It was Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. I mean, this segment it was, to me, as disappointing as the final segment of Raw, if I'm going to be completely honest. Very disappointing here. Basically, Roman came out, said, Milwaukee acknowledged me. He then said, I did what I said I was going to do. I beat Brock Lesnar's ass at WrestleMania. I stacked him and I pinned him. But what's left? I've done everything. All these pictures were taken over the weekend of the Bloodline, and I saw a lot of different things, like me with 2 titles, and, well, tag team champs back here with 1 title apiece. What's missing? More belts, more gold. So what I need you guys to do is go to Raw, beat the Raw tag team champions, take their belts, and become the undisputed tag team champions. He said he wants the Bloodline to have all the gold. Usos were like, we can do that. Yeah, sure. We can do that. And all of a sudden, Nakamura's music would hit. And he'd come down to the ring. Reigns kind of got annoyed, but then he kind of tried to play the sympathy thing with Nakamura. He goes, hey, I saw what happened with your tag team partner. Knee injury, that sucks. He's going to be out for a while. We know what that's like. We lost Jimmy for over a year to a knee injury. Bring it here. Let me hug you to make you feel better. And Nakamura kind of was like, what? Huh? You want a what? It's basically the exact same thing, kind of, ish. They did with Cesaro last year. Cesaro just interrupts Roman, and then they finally end up having a match. But Roman goes to hug him, and then he gets super kicked by the Usos. Just wipe the heck out. Did Nakamura no favors, making him look weak here. He comes down, doesn't say a word, kind of maybe hugs Roman, and then just takes a super kick. They stand over him, and the Usos yell, well, guess we got to make a trip to Detroit next Monday, take on RK Bro. So I don't know if that tag title match is going to be Monday. They're going to set it up for WrestleMania Backlash. I don't know. But the next thing is Roman, I guess, is going to face Nakamura, and the Usos are going to go try and get the Raw titles. So that was it. Roman then posed with both belts, and Roman did not look hurt this time. So after WrestleMania, when he lifted up the arm, he was like, because this arm hurt him. And then on Raw, he did the same thing where he lifted up the one arm but could barely lift the other arm. Tonight, he seems fine. So if he did do anything to that shoulder, it was just like maybe he tweaked it that night. It was still bugging him the next day, but 5 days later, he's fine. So all the stuff of did Roman injure his shoulder seems to be a moot point now. But with that, that was Friday Night Smackdown, everybody. I thought it was a pretty good show. Had some weak points. Had more highs than weak points, though, so that's always good. Now I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's Friday Night Smackdown, so let's pull up the polls. Also, remember, you can text in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 83% liked the show. 17% thought it was just all right. If we check the Twitter poll, 53% liked the show. We're at 53.8. 30.8 thought it was just all right. And 15.4% did not like tonight's SmackDown. And finally, the YouTube poll. 72% liked the show. 20% thought it was just all right. And 8% did not like SmackDown. Remember, if you want to get your comments read, you can do so by putting a super chat in the YouTube chat or by texting 510-906-1341. We do have one super chat here from Gabriel Perez. He says, do you think Gunther will be the one to end Ricochet's Intercontinental Championship reign? I mean, I don't know, but I don't see it as a bad idea. Like, I don't think Jinder wins it next week. But like I said, I think Gunther, whatever you call him, has to, get built up. Like, we all know who he is. They call him an international beast or whatever. But I think you have him just beating guys' asses for the next month and a half, 2 months. Cool. Have him beat some guys, show how dominant he can be, and then have him challenge for that Intercontinental title and win it. As far as text messages, this person says, oh, will they hold a tournament to crown the next NXT Tag Team Champion? So all we know is next Tuesday, new champs will be crowned. They haven't said how or when or how, or they haven't said how. We know that the titles were supposed to be on the line next week. Grayson Waller and Sanjay, however you say his name, were supposed to challenge, so maybe it's them against another team. Maybe Creeds or something. It says, now that it's been announced that Cody will take on The Miz on Monday, do you think it will lead to Miz and Maurice versus Cody and Brandy? No. I don't see Brandy coming into wrestling anytime soon. Person says, do you think after Rhea and Liv lose on Monday, they would join Edge's new group? I think Rhea would, but not both of them. I think they lose, Liv gets pinned, Rhea gets pissed and attacks her, and then eventually joins Edge's group. No, I know how it's spelled, Chase. I just not sure how to say it. Sanga, S-A-N-G-A. Versus, I think SmackDown did good tonight. I have a question. What's going on with Shotzi, Aaliyah, and Xia Li? Do you think Sasha Banks turns heel on Naomi? Not anytime soon, the Sasha Banks heel thing. As far as the other women, they just got nothing for them. I mean, there's not much more I can say. If I were to ask and say what's going on, all I'll get back was they got nothing for them right now. So your guess is as good as mine. And this person says, I'm confused here. Oh, okay, so there's 2 text messages here. That's why I was confused. So they want to unify both SmackDown and Raw tag titles. But technically, wasn't the Raw tag titles the unified ones? And then the Smack... You're getting too convoluted here. Bud. Because also, which titles are which titles? Because the Raw and SmackDown titles have been switched a couple times when people move brands and this and that. So we don't know what's just which and which. We don't know which are the old WWE tag titles and which are the old World Tag Team titles. It don't matter anymore. It really don't matter. You're just getting a little too convoluted in your question there. And you also say my point is, so the Raw titles suddenly are just not the undisputed ones. There is no undisputed ones anymore. There's just Raw titles and SmackDown titles. That's all it really is. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PW Unlimited. Have a great weekend, guys. I will see you on Monday morning for the wrestling wrap up. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.